Looming over the Alaskan wilderness at a height of 20,310 feet stands the tallest natural structure on the North American continent. Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley, is situated in the heart of the Alaskan Range and is known as a symbol of power and durability to the Alaskan people. In doing my research of this magnificent landmark, I am in awe of the beauty and legacy that this mountain is known for. In this speech, I will inform you of the historical, environmental, and geological factors that are behind this mountain. The history of this mountain starts with an Alaskan indigenous tribe that had inhabited the area surrounding the mountain for centuries. The first group of people to have been believed to have first seen the mountain was an Alaskan native tribe called the Kuyokan Athabascans. They lived in the territories of the Yukon, Tanana, and Kuskokwim basins at the bottom of the mountain, and also have survived by hunting and trapping for food. They were the first to name the mountain Denali, which in their language is translated to mean high or tall. The next significant historical event that occurred in 1896 was when a gold prospector by the name of William Dickey renamed the mountain McKinley in order to garner political support for then presidential candidate William McKinley. According to PBS.org's excerpt on Denali National Park from the documentary The Nation's Parks by Kevin Burns, the name Mount McKinley was formally recognized in 1917 when President Wilson signed the Mount McKinley National Park Act, which not only changed the name of the mountain, but also created the park. However, in this past year, in August of 2015, President Obama's administration restored its name back to Denali, which is in accordance to what the Alaskan Native tribes call it. Denali was created by many different geological events coming together. The main cause for the creation of this mountain is plate tectonics, the specific type being flat slab subduction. This is when the Pacific plate sinks below the North American plate, which has pushed the mountain upwards by way of tectonic pressure. In fact, due to the continuous plate activity between these two plates, Denali keeps getting taller every year, even if it's only 1 millimeter per year. Denali is also known as granitic pluton, which is a blob of cooled and hardened magma that has been formed beneath the surface of the Earth. It has been pushed through the crust onto the surface for over tens of millions of years in order to get where it is now. Since granite is a lighter rock and more resistant to the effects of erosion, it is more likely to last longer than any other type of rock formation. The conversion of these plates also creates a fault line that runs along the Alaskan Range, and therefore runs directly through the mountain Denali. This causes over 600 small earthquakes every year, which most go completely unnoticed by humans. However, they can cause dangerous conditions and even avalanches. This is my first visual aid. I got it off the National Park Service website. As you can see, it is a cross-section of subduction beneath the Alaskan Range, showing the uplift effect on Mount McKinley. As you can see, there's the asthenosphere, the lithosphere, and the continental crust. This is the conversion between the Pacific plate and the North American plate. As you can see, the Pacific plate is subducting beneath the North American plate. And as this is occurring, the chunk of granitic pluton, known as Denali, has risen to the surface over the tens of millions of years that it has been subducting under the North American plate. Also, not only has this created Mountain Denali, but it has also created the entirety of the Alaskan Range. Denali is also the centerpiece of the Denali National Park and Preserve in Alaska. The park stretches over 6 million acres and includes forests, glaciers, rock, tundra, and Denali in the center. This park is also home to many different varieties of wildlife, including grizzly bears, caribou, and moose. Over 400,000 people visit this park annually just to see the mountain. There are also shuttle buses that run up and down Denali Park Road, which allow for the most beautiful scenic views of the mountain. Few people attempt to climb the mountain due to the extreme temperature and environment. However, the park does offer other forms of travel in order to have close-up views of Denali. Because of the size and the height of the mountain, it has its own climate and weather system that are very much harsher than the area surrounding it. The winters in this part of Alaska that Denali is situated in run from September to late March, and the temperature reaches record lows of -50 degrees Fahrenheit. There are air taxis that will land directly on the glaciers right in the Alaskan Range, which is where Denali is situated. They offer both fixed wing and helicopter options, and many say that it is the best way to see the mountain in its entirety in the shortest amount of time. This is another visual aid. As you can see, this depicts the most common way that the mountain is usually accessed, which is by shuttle bus. So the shuttle buses travel down Denali Park Road and offer the most scenic views of the mountain, and this is an example. This picture also shows the harsh and rugged terrains that are between the valleys and the mountain that cannot be accessed by shuttle bus or foot. This is why often air traffic is the best form of travel in order to see the best views of the mountain, because they land directly on the glaciers that are in the range, and therefore that's the way you can get the closest and the best view of the mountain. As you can see, Denali is a landmark that is part of the Alaskan history and culture. It has its own rich history, unique geological makeup, and acts as a symbol to the Alaskan people in the center of its own national park. While there are many people who are afraid of heights, myself included, you really have to appreciate the beauty and sheer enormity of Denali. As the highest peak in North America, Denali is quite the treasure to the Alaskan people.